The Sega Genesis may not have been my console of choice back in the 80s and 90s, but it's a system that I've definitely grown to love now. Whether we're talking about the original Model 1, the Model 2, or any of the add-ons such as the 32X or the Sega CD, the Sega Genesis is one of the greatest video game systems of all time. They even made a portable called the Sega Nomad. Now, where the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System have gotten a lot of clone consoles, Sega fans have not been that lucky. That is, until recently, with the release of the Gamerz Tek Mini Gen HD and the Hyperkin MegaRetron HD. We've actually reviewed both systems on the channel, and they're both really good. But many people want to know, which one is better? That's what we're here to determine today. Welcome to our shootout between the Gamerz Tek Mini Gen HD and the Hyperkin MegaRetron HD. Stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Gary, your host here on the channel. If you like what you see here, do me a favor, go check out some of the other videos that we have on the channel, including reviews of the MiniGen HD, of the MegaRetron HD, and some other really cool Genesis and Master System videos that we have on the channel. If you really like what you see, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. That way each and every time we do come out with new videos, you're kept the most up to date. Like I mentioned in the intro, the MiniGen HD and the MegaRetron HD, both really solid clone Sega Genesis and Sega Mega Drive systems. We are going to sit down and play through both systems and see which one actually performs the best. But we're not just going to check out and see how they work on their own head to head. We're also going to compare it to the original, well, the Model 2 at least. This system was actually donated to the channel. It has a lot of mod work done to it to give us the best audio and video quality out of it. We are going to be routing this system through our OSSC using HD Retrovision Component video cables. And we are going to be using a 3x line multiplier to get us a 720p output. And that is the same output as both of these systems here, 720p. Neither one does 1080p, so that is something to keep in mind. Both systems share inspiration from the original Sega consoles. The MegaRetron HD takes after the original Model 1 Genesis, whereas the Gamerz Tek Mini Gen HD takes after the Model 2 Genesis. The systems out of the box are fairly identically equipped. Both feature 2 controller ports right on the face of the system itself, power and reset buttons, although the MegaRetron HD's more closely follows that of its inspiration, the original Model 1 Genesis, where the MiniGen HD features just a simple slider switch and a reset button. The back of both systems are pretty evenly matched. Both feature a micro USB port for power, both feature composite video output, and both also feature that HDMI port on the back. Now also on the back of each of them is a 4x3 and 16x9 switch. So far, they're both pretty equally equipped. Looking at the underside of both systems, there's not a whole lot to talk about. Both have their product name and serial numbers and everything on there. But on the back of the MegaRetron HD, it has this switch right here. This is an NTSC-J, NTSC-U, and PAL switch, where there is no such switch on the Gamerz Tek Mini Gen HD. Now, will that cause an issue for gameplay? We'll have to find out. Both systems feature 6-button controllers. However, the MiniGen HD comes with 2 of them right out of the box, and each one is actually shaped a little bit differently from the other. This has more of a boomerang shape on the Gamerz Tek MiniGen HD, whereas the Squire controller from Hyperkin has a little bit closer to the original Sega Genesis 6-button controller configuration. They're both really comfortable to use. Now, one area though where the Hyperkin controller is superior is in the length of the controller cable itself. It comes with a 10-foot long controller cable, where the MiniGen HD's is only about 6 feet. Both controllers do feature that ever-important mode button for those 3 or 4 games for the Genesis that actually requires it. Which controller is superior is really hard to decide just as far as the functionality of the controllers go. The D-pad is excellent on both. The ABC, XYZ buttons are all very responsive, and now I didn't have to use the mode button, but it's there on both of them. I do have to give the edge to the Hyperkin controller simply because it does come with a much longer cable than the Gamerz Tek controller. They're both good, and if you're sitting closer, the Gamerz Tek will be just fine. However, the Squire controller has that 10-foot long cable, and that makes it superior for my gaming needs. Which system wins the aesthetics battle really depends on which original model Genesis you prefer the looks of. If you prefer the looks of the Model 1 Genesis, you would definitely prefer the looks of the Hyperkin MegaRetron HD. If you prefer the looks of the Model 2 Genesis, then the MiniGen HD will probably be more aesthetically pleasing towards you. Me personally, I think they are both good looking systems, but I do prefer the looks overall of the MegaRetron HD. So instead of starting with my gameplay, I actually just wanted to start with the demos of Sonic the Hedgehog, one of the perhaps best known games for the Sega Genesis, where we can see all three systems head to head and hear them head to head as well. Up next, we're going to do some Streets of Rage 2, and one of the things that I was really shocked by was listening to the audio, especially editing it on Sonic. I didn't think the Gamerz Tek one sounded bad on its own, and then I listened to the MegaRetron HD, and I didn't think that one sounded bad either, but it did sound better. But then I listened to the original Genesis, and goodness, both systems, I mean, they're okay, but they both still lack a little bit compared to the original. But audio-wise, at least on Sonic, I have to give the advantage to the Hyperkin MegaRetron HD. Now, here's the audio for the MiniGen HD, playing some Streets of Rage here. Switching over to the feed for the MegaRetron HD. Now on Streets of Rage, I will say it seems like the audio is a little bit closer between the MiniGen HD and the MegaRetron HD. Both of which, though, they still leave a little bit on the table, and the original equipment, as you would expect, is the best sounding one out there. Now, you definitely miss some of the sound effects on the clone systems. I can't argue that. And I will say, too, that the Genesis version just looks like the characters are popping off the screen a little bit more. It really does look quite amazing. What about PAL games, you might be wondering? Well, I didn't have any to test the Gamerz Tek Mini Gen HD originally. Earthworm Gaming actually sent me a copy of Mickey Mania, and I was able to test it with the MegaRetron HD. Let's check it out now on the Gamerz Tek Mini Gen HD, just see how it looks, and we'll compare all three of them. I mean, here you can see on the Mini Gen HD, just, you know, the color palette's pretty decent. It's black and white because of the type of game that it is. You know, not that I'm measuring it, so to speak, but it does feel like I'm getting a little bit of lag coming out of the MegaRetron HD, where I was not having that coming out of the MiniGen HD. So that could be just the, you know, the fact that I've got a PAL system with an NTSC PAL switch versus one that does not have that. Now, one thing I will say is it certainly does seem like the MegaRetron HD, the audio does have that deeper bass, like I mentioned earlier in some of the other games. It sounds more fuller, more rich, and unless you're doing it side by side, I don't know that you would notice it, however. You know, not to say that, you know, the MiniGen HD is bad, but the MegaRetron HD does have better audio. If you're a fan of the channel, you had to know that this was coming. Earthworm Jim, one of my favorite games of all time. The Genesis version, the best version. God, that pains me to say sometimes. But the Genesis version is the best version of this game. It has more levels. The audio is better. It's great. It's probably my favorite Genesis game. Now, one of the things coming up to the tires here is I've always found if there's lag and latency in the system, this is where I'm going to find it because of the difficulty getting up here, timing your jumps quite right. Again, the MiniGen HD sounds just a little bit on the soft side when it comes to the deeper bass, especially, and this is a game that they use a ton of slap bass in. Playing on the MegaRetron HD, it feels like the graphics are a little bit less grainy than on the MiniGen HD. Not a ton, but a little bit, something I noticed. The audio does sound a little bit more full as well. You know, it is something where, especially with the synth and the, there we go, slap bass and everything that's in this game, that you can definitely hear it better on this than on the MiniGen HD. But both systems, I think, are lacking a little bit on that bottom end, not unexpectedly, compared to the original, Dirty Crow, original Genesis. Oh, yeah. Now, where I thought that the MegaRetron HD looked a little bit sharper than even the MiniGen HD, I actually think the MiniGen HD may be the most accurate graphically looking compared to the original Genesis output here. It has that kind of grainy texture to it, which I'm not sure that I like as much. I think I may actually like the MegaRetron HD's video output a little bit more than what even the original system looks like. So between the two or three systems, really, which one do I recommend? Few things that you need to answer for yourself. First of all, how important is virtual racing to you? Because virtual racing is here in the MiniGen HD, doesn't play. We've shown that it does play in the MegaRetron HD, and obviously it'll play in the original equipment. That is not an issue. Both systems can work with EverDrives. That's not an issue. Both look and sound good. I do feel like the bass and the fullness of the sound a little bit better on the MegaRetron HD. The controllers, I gotta give the edge to the MegaRetron HD. Game compatibility, except for virtual racing, pretty similar. I was actually really impressed that our stock Model 2 Genesis played that PAL game. I wasn't expecting that. But between the two of them, if I've got to pick a winner, it's got to be the Hyperkin MegaRetron HD. This really is a superior system on a lot of different levels. Again, the sound is better. I think the picture is more crisp and more clear. Now, in Earthworm Jim, the MiniGen HD did actually have a better representation of what the original system looked like. So that is something to keep in mind. but I actually liked how it looked better on the MegaRetron HD than even the original Genesis. I thought it looked sharper. I thought it looked crisper and more clear. Now, to duplicate what I have here with the original Genesis, you can do it. You're looking at a considerable amount of money though. Just the system itself, you're looking between $30 and $40. The HD Retrovision cables are roughly $60 if you use promo code ROX10 at CastleManiaGames.com. But the big piece of that picture, the OSSC, you're looking at over $200. Are you going to get the same audio out of this or this that you will out of that? No. Are you going to get close? Yes. Are you going to get a complete brand new system with new pins and a micro USB connector for power and HDMI output? Yes. Are you going to be able to plug and play these on your systems? Yes. I think for the casual gamer who doesn't care about things like, neither of these systems are going to work with the 32X or with the CD. There's not a bunch of really good games. I still only have one game for my 32X, and that's Star Wars. Nerd. But the MegaRetron HD, something, if you are a Genesis fan, I do have to give the advantage there. The other minor thing is you can actually get the MegaRetron HD in more places. My local game store has got it, Live Action Games. You can get them at CastleManiaGames.com. A lot of retailers have the MegaRetron HD. Availability-wise on the MiniGen HD, primarily Amazon and their own website. And well, anyone has access to Amazon and their website, there's just more options. Like I say, the fact Live Action Games can get these. Disc Replay can get these. If you have issues, you can go in. There is someone that you can talk to. Now, I do like the fact that the MiniGen HD does come with 2 controllers, and the stock controllers are not bad. I do honestly prefer the Squire controller that comes with the Hyperkin system. But these are just my opinions. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Which one did you like the looks of better? Which one did you think sounded better? And would you make the investment in one of these, or would you just go all out and do the Tower of Power like what we have here with the Genesis, the 32X, and the Sega CD? Let me know. Also, let me know if you have any comments or questions. You can send me an email at rocksolidmail@gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter at RockSolidStudios, or we always have the conversation going over on our Facebook page at facebook.com/RockSolidProductions. If you want to get early access to all of our content and help support the future of Rock Solid Productions, you can do so as well by heading on over to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/RockSolidProductions. For as little as $1 a month, you get early access to all of our content that we have on the channel, exclusive one-on-ones with me, and a whole lot more. And if you want to pick up a MegaRetron HD, you can head on over to CastleManiaGames.com, and basically any item over $20 and up, you get free standard shipping and handling in the lower 48 states. Many items on the site too. If you use promo code ROX10, you can save 10% on your item as well. If you want to pick up a Gamerz Tek Mini Gen HD, I will have a link down below to our Amazon affiliate store. We have a lot of different items in there too that helps when you purchase, that actually helps support the future of Rock Solid Productions. If you want to pick up the HD Retrovision cables like what we used here, again, CastleManiaGames.com has those. That promo code ROX10, a good way to save some money on those. The King of the Clones, I gotta call it right now, the MegaRetron HD from Hyperkin. I am Gary. This has been Rock Solid Productions. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking out what we have going on here on the channel. If you want to see more, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.